Do you know there's a movie nobody wants to work on? The team nobody wanted to be on. The studio built on pure spite. And somehow, that trash project became a billion-dollar franchise. But here's the twist. It also destroyed the very thing DreamWorks was trying to build. The story starts from a man named Jeffrey Katzenberg. He had one of the best jobs in Hollywood. He ran Disney's animation department. You know, The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King, all him. He was the guy who brought Disney back from the dead. But here's the thing about power in Hollywood. It's never enough. Katzenberg wanted to be number 2 at Disney, the president. But when the number 2 guy, Frank Wells, died in a helicopter crash, Katzenberg saw it as an opportunity. He went to Disney CEO Michael Eisner and asked for the promotion. Eisner said no. Not just no. Eisner said something that Katzenberg never forgot. According to court testimony later, Eisner told people he thought Katzenberg was a little midget. So in August 1994, Eisner fired him. Katzenberg was furious. He felt betrayed, humiliated, and he wanted revenge. So he did what any angry billionaire would do. He teamed up with 2 friends, Steven Spielberg and David Geffen, and started his own studio. They called it DreamWorks SKG. And the plan was simple: beat Disney at its own game. This entire studio was built on one man's hurt feelings. And nowhere is that more clear than in 2 movies they made at the same time. One was supposed to be a masterpiece. The other was supposed to be a punishment. In 1998, DreamWorks released its first 2 animated films. The first was called The Prince of Egypt. This was the prestige project, the one Katzenberg cared about. Big budget, A-list voices, Val Kilmer, Ralph Fiennes, Michelle Pfeiffer, Sandra Bullock. Traditional hand-drawn animation. The second film was called Ants. Yes, the one with Woody Allen as a neurotic ant. That was their other first movie. CGI. Edgy. Weird. But neither of these is the movie I want to talk about. The movie I want to talk about was the third one. While Katzenberg was pouring his heart into The Prince of Egypt, there was another movie in development. A little project based on a children's book by William Steig about an ugly green ogre who lives in a swamp. The movie was called Shrek, and at DreamWorks, nobody wanted to work on it. Here's how bad it was. According to Nicole Laporte's book, The Men Who Would Be King, animators had a nickname for the Shrek team. They called it the Gulag. The Gulag, like the Russian prison camps. If you messed up on The Prince of Egypt, if you failed at the prestige project, you were sent to the dungeons. You were punished by being assigned to Shrek. There was even a verb for it. Animators called it getting Shreked. Think about that. A movie that would go on to make nearly $500 million and win the first ever Oscar for Best Animated Feature was treated like garbage by the people making it. Katzenberg capped the budget at only $20 million. He limited the number of characters to 17. He hired recent college graduates instead of experienced animators. The team worked out of a hideous warehouse complex in Glendale, California. This was the movie nobody believed in. The movie that was supposed to fail. The movie that was built on spite and punishment and low expectations. And then, something happened. To understand how Shrek became what it became, you have to understand just how cursed the production was. First problem, technology. This was the late 1990s. CGI animation was brand new. Pixar had just done Toy Story in 1995. Nobody else had figured it out yet. The Shrek team had to learn as they worked. Second problem, the voice. The original voice of Shrek was Chris Farley. You know, the big guy from Tommy Boy. He was perfect for the role. Loud, messy, lovable. Farley recorded most of his dialogue. The animators even started shaping Shrek to look like him. Tommy Boy type hair, big nose, funky ears. Then, in December 1997, Chris Farley died. He was only 33 years old. The production almost shut down completely. Third problem, the new voice. They hired Mike Myers, fresh off Austin Powers, but Myers had his own ideas. After recording all his lines in his normal Canadian accent, he came back and said, "I want to do it in a Scottish accent instead." You know what that means? Every single line, every joke, every scene, reanimated from scratch. It cost an extra $4 million. But Katzenberg, after much hesitation, said yes. And honestly, that might be the best $4 million anyone ever spent in Hollywood. Fourth problem, Katzenberg himself. He wanted Shrek to be edgy, but nobody knew what that meant. He kept pushing. He kept changing things. At one point, he saw a 1-minute test and hated it so much that he shut down production entirely and fired the whole crew. This movie had a revolving door of directors, writers, and animators. They went through multiple screenwriters, multiple directors. It was a mess. Shrek wasn't just a kids' movie, it was a revenge movie. Every joke about fairy tales, every jab at perfect princesses and handsome princes, that was aimed directly at Disney. Every time Lord Farquaad, the short, power-hungry villain, appeared on screen, people in Hollywood knew exactly who that was supposed to be. Michael Eisner, the man who fired Katzenberg, the man who called him a little midget. They even made Farquaad short, very, very short, with tiny legs and a huge ego. That wasn't an accident. And the audience loved it. When Shrek premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in May 2001, the filmmakers were terrified. Here they were, dressed in tuxedos and evening gowns, watching an ogre take a poot in the water. Co-director Vicky Jensen later said, "For the first 10 minutes, nothing. Nobody laughed. But then, the floodgates opened. Laughter, applause, a standing ovation. Shrek opened in the United States and made $42 million in its first weekend, DreamWorks' biggest opening ever. Worldwide, it made $484 million. It won the very first Academy Award for Best Animated Feature, beating Pixar's Monsters, Inc. And Katzenberg? He got the last laugh. Look at what happened to The Prince of Egypt. That beautiful, serious, hand-drawn masterpiece. It made money, about $100 million domestically, but that wasn't enough compared to Shrek. DreamWorks tried one more traditional animated epic, Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas in 2003. It flopped badly. After Shrek became a hit, every studio wanted to copy it. Suddenly, every animated movie had to be edgy, had to have pop culture references, had to have fart jokes, had to have celebrity voices. The quiet, beautiful, hand-drawn movies, the ones that felt like art, they got pushed aside. In a way, the Punishment Project got its revenge on everyone, not just Disney, but on DreamWorks itself. The studio that started with The Prince of Egypt, a serious, spiritual, gorgeous film, became the studio of Madagascar, Shark Tale, and Over the Hedge.